Welcome, yogis. Mm. So for today's practice, a couple blocks, a strap, especially if you know that, oh, you're a bit tighter in the shoulders or the hamstrings, big strap, and some wall space. So I have a big, beautiful wall behind me in my new space here. If you need to move around a little bit, you're going to get a recording, so you can always pause the recording and figure out where you need to be on the wall. But we're going to use the wall as a major prop today. And just in terms of that, it's just a way to be super, just like we use the floor to be super connected to something really solid, grounded matter, right? And the idea, of course, is to be able to feel in our body, get a felt sense when we use something like the wall or the floor or any prop, um, how that how that helps us access different feelings in our body or different areas of stickiness or um, just even openness, I guess, or if I'm closed down somewhere. So it kind of it's almost like when we say we have a closed chain, right? I have a closed chain now between my hands, so we can use the wall to help us close some of the chains up. All right, so let's just begin in a seat and just a little practice um, before we get started in being able to just be the witness. Be the witness. Close your eyes down if it's comfortable. If you need to lie on the floor for this, it's fine. Do so. Whether you're sitting or lying down, just really bring your attention to where subject meets object. So sit bones, on the floor, back body on the floor. Let gravity help you ground. And then just bring to mind a memory from childhood, something happy or neutral. Who is witnessing the memory? And you can say to yourself, I am. You might even see yourself as the witness, witnessing your memory. Then bring to mind a memory, maybe in your teens or early 20s, something happy or neutral. Observe the changes in your body. You might be aware of some other changes as well in your energy, your attitudes, your mental state. Who is witnessing the memory? Who's observing? That has not changed. And you can say to yourself, I am the witness. Now bring a pretty recent memory, happy or neutral, to mind, pretty recent memory. Observe how your body has changed. Probably in a different location, but maybe not. Maybe you are aware of other changes. And who is witnessing the memory? Who is the observer? I am. The part of us that never changes, that doesn't change through our embodied life, is the witness. Our bodies will change. Many things about us will change. And the witness does not change. It is the essence. Now, can you witness today in love, without judgment, where you are? Just witness your body as you move, as you explore, as you play. Let's start by coming to the wall space with legs up the wall. If you don't have a big enough wall to do that, you could put your feet up on your couch or chair. There's definitely ways to vary what we're doing today with a little bit of wall space if that's all you have. And then my orientation will be all over the place today if you're a visual watcher, learner. So I'll try to do my best to give really great instructions auditorially. So legs up the wall. If you're not familiar with this, we bring our hips into the wall, sideways to the wall. Bring my hips in, and then I'm gonna just scoot around on my back and take my legs up the wall, just like so. Now, for those of you that practice quite a bit, you can play around with closer to the wall, farther away from the wall. You could take your hips, take something underneath your hips like a blanket. You might even stack the legs in Tadasana and put something like a block on the soles of your feet. I've got a nice cork block here. So just a little weight there on the feet. Okay, you can also work with the legs apart. Hopefully you have your blocks handy. If you're using a piece of furniture, just the lower legs on the furniture, but begin to just feel how we can create a little reverse flow, blood flow through the body. There are a couple more rounds of breath here. And then you're going to take your block and going to use the surface that has the most surface area underneath your sacrum. Then you might have to adjust here a little bit. So now more weight comes into the shoulders. And you could bring your legs away from the wall. So supported shoulder stand. Externally rotate through your arms. So the palms are up towards the ceiling, and maybe you're even trying to turn the thumbs down towards the floor. So we're externally rotating upper arms. Then we'll bend the knees and press your feet into the wall. So the shoulder stand is a little bit more. We want the back of the neck to stay long, so tuck your chin into your chest. If this doesn't feel good in your body, go right back down to the block. But for those of us who can, if this feels okay, this is just another variation on shoulder stand, a supported shoulder stand. Good, and then we'll slowly lower. You can remove the block, scoot it out of the way as you come back down to the floor. Let's take the legs back up the wall. Great, then roll to one side. Take your time to press up to a seat. Right, and take my jacket off here. Now you want to take your blocks. I have two kind of smaller size blocks that make pretty much the bigger size. And I'm going to come into Virasana, hero's pose, blocks between my ankles, sitting. And I want my one hand to be able to come straight to the wall. So you're going to have to scoot yourself, figure out where that's going to be, so that I can come to the wall with a straight arm. Okay, straight arm. So I find Virasana. Take a couple breaths here. Let's inhale, reach the arms up, palms face one another, and exhale, press the palms away and just let them float down. So the shoulders going through its whole range of motion. Both shoulders are. Just inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, press the hands away and let your arms float down. All right. Just a couple more. This is one of the best overall movements for the shoulders, because we take the shoulder into, we go into lateral extension, right? We're going into over our head, extension over our head. We got flexion and extension happening in the shoulders. We have rotation, external and internal rotation happening. Great. So then the next time you float down, we'll stay there. And we'll reach the right hand around and just touch the wall. This might be enough for you, or you might be able to bring the left hand to the outside of your right leg, and you might have to work with the blocks a little bit, adjust. And some of you might be able to reach sort of over towards the left side of your body. So right hand reaching towards the left side. Now you can look over, look back, and stretch the ocular muscles in your eyes, or you can derotate the head, looking straight towards the camera. And then we'll unwind, come back to center, because you've probably had your whole, even your hips twisted a little bit. So just come back, square up, and then reach the left hand back. Maybe the right hand comes to the outside of the left leg and you can wiggle over towards the right. I can't get quite as far on this side. And again, same choices with the head. And then you come to back to center, square yourself up once again. Good. Okay, so now 1 or 2 blocks or no blocks, we're going to come into Dandasana. And you might have to just play around here with this. Back up against the wall, legs straight. All right, so I'm propped up. I've got my hips touching, I've got my back touching, shoulder blades are touching, giving me lots of good information about my shape, my Dandasana shape. You might want to be sitting on a block. That might give you, or a blanket, that might give you better information, a little more access to the full wall. So press your heels into the floor. How much of your back leg line can you get onto the floor? And then just close your eyes and feel. Let's start with the head. So is your head evenly touching the wall behind you? What about your shoulders? And then can you sense from your cervical spine all the way down through your sacrum, the natural curves of your back? Great, and we'll slowly open the eyes back up. I had my eyes closed there. I don't know, I didn't really instruct that, but it was nice to have my eyes closed and feel my cervical spine moves away from the wall, right? Then I could feel my thoracic spine touching the wall, and then my lumbar spine away from the wall, and then my sacrum up against the wall. Great, so let's transition to standing now. And you'll have your mat, want your mat just right up against the baseboard or the edge. If you don't have this big wall space and you're using like a door jamb, just set your mat right up against the door jamb. Great, if that makes sense to you. I hope it does, yeah. Okay, and let's bring the heels up onto the wall. Well, let's go to downward dog first. We'll go to downward dog, and then we'll set the heels up against the wall. Now, I'm working with some carpet here, so my sticky mat kind of scrunches up, but heels up against the wall. All right, and feel, you can bend through your knees and take your hips up in the air. Feel how that with the heels lifted, maybe you get a little bit more height in your downward facing dog. Inhale, come to your knees and cow. And exhale, bring your hips back towards your heels. Keep the arms extended out, child's pose. Inhale to cow. And exhale, take the hips up and back, heels are on the wall, downward facing dog. So we do this little vinyasa a lot, but we're just doing it now with the support of the wall. So inhale, come to cow. Exhale, round and take your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Arms are extended long, lifted off the floor, toes are turned under. Inhale, come up to cow. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog, heels on the wall. So repeat that a few times. Inhale, come down to cow. Exhale, round, press your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Inhale to cow. Exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, cow. Exhale, round and set back, child's pose. Inhale to cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then from your downward dog, set your feet onto the floor. Walk your hands back towards your feet till your bum hits the wall. And if you grab a block here, a little block, but come into a fold with your sit bones against the wall. Okay, and this might feel very different than your normal forward fold. Okay, and then you can walk your feet out a bit so that you have a good orientation to sort of slide down the wall, knees bent, and press yourself up to Tadasana. Great. Let's start with the arms a bit and work again with the arms a bit. So you'll come to the wall sideways and take your arm out at a 90-degree angle. So feet are facing, they're lined up with the short edge of the mat or the carpet or whatever you're using. And your arm is back against the wall. And then just walk your feet back towards me. So you try to spin your body open towards the middle of the room. For 3, 2, 1, spin back around. Let your arm come down so that your palm is into the wall and your arm is right at your side waist. So it feels a little awkward on the elbow. Okay, see what you can do here and then walk your feet towards, as you twist your body towards midline, the palm stays pressing into the wall. For 3, 2, 1, then spin back around. Now take your arm up at a diagonal. Okay, and same thing, you'll walk your feet, try to turn your torso towards your camera. Oh, I feel this in the armpit. For 3, 2, 1, release. Take the arm and just make some big circles on the wall. So palm into the wall until you get right beside your body. And then you flip it. So you can continue, just flip. So you can continue making the big circles. Great. And then the next time you come down beside your body, turn your palm into the wall and walk your fingertips up as far as possible. Slide your hand down. Walk your fingertips up as far as possible, and then come back to the starting position. Okay, let's look at the other side. Other side. So we start in next to the wall. I'm just going to scoot my mat out of the equation here for a second. It's the carpet makes it slippery. So now I'm got my left side body to the wall. So wherever you started, go to the other side, and then reach that arm back. And I'm pretty close to the wall. I'm 4 inches. You know, you don't have to be right up against it. So now start to walk your feet or turn your feet towards the center of the room. I didn't get very far. All right, for 3, 2, 1, come on back. Let your arm come down so the palm is in. And your arm is right lined up with the side of your body. And then walk your feet towards, keep the palm connected to the wall. Palms connected to the wall. For 3, 2, 1, and turn it back around. And then that 45-degree angle behind you. Start to move your body towards center, kind of walking your feet around. Can you relax the muscles on your face and be the witness? For 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to the starting position. And then the big circles. I guess we could take this the other way. We didn't on the other side, but we could take this the other way. You get a little work in your elbow and wrist as you flip the hand down at the bottom. Good. And starting down at the bottom, you'll walk your fingertips up, 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 and let your hand come back down. And then walk the fingertips up, 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 come back down. And then right just beside you, just walk your fingers up the wall. And release. Come to standing with your booty against the wall and slide into Utkatasana. So I have my hips touching the wall, my sacrum, and now I'm going to bring my shoulders, shoulder blades touching. Low back is away. So arms could be straight out or up as you desire. For 3, 2, 1, come to a T position and slide yourself up the wall. Okay, now we're that drawing, right? Let your hands come down to the sides. Step away from the wall, Tadasana. Right. Then we'll bend the knees again until your backside touches the wall. Slide the hips down. And you can play with your footing so that your knees don't come too far in front of your feet, I think, or your ankles. I think when we have our knees bent, you know, this is basically walking, right? So in front of the ankles is not a bad thing. See if you can keep your thighs lined up in parallel with one another. For 3, 2, 1, slide yourself back up. Walk your feet back into the wall. Tadasana. Great. Okay. So from here now, you probably will need your sticky mat if you moved it out of the way. If you're on some carpet. And my back will be to you. All right, we're going to take the downward dog against the wall. So we want the shoulders, we want the arms to be at shoulder height, palms into the wall. All right, and we take the legs wide and come into downward facing dog. Okay, so hands at shoulder height, and you can play with your stance. Press the back of the legs back and roll the triceps down towards the floor. Downward facing dog. 3, 2, 1. Then you can press yourself straight and come onto your toes and come forward with your chest, upward facing dog. Okay. So we're pressing, where arms are in the same position. We're just bringing the chest forward and leaning towards the wall to upward facing dog. Just looking around my space to see if I could show a different orientation. So, yeah. Okay, so then press back to downward facing dog. Roll the triceps down towards the floor. Then straighten through your body, come up onto your toes and reach your chest forward in a sort of upward facing dog variation. Yeah. Then press away from the wall, walk your feet towards the wall, turn, touch heels, touch hips, touch shoulder blades, Tadasana, back of the head. Tuck the chin in here. Good. Feel what's connected to the wall. Relax what doesn't need to be online here, and be the witness. Great. Okay. So now we'll take the right foot into the wall. So it's your heel that's going to press into the wall, and your toes are slightly turned in, and we'll bring the left foot forward, and we'll come into the warrior two stance. So if you want to play with this, backhand with the palm just touches the wall behind me. Okay, and front hand reaches forward. You want to keep this front leg moving into external rotation and press into your back heel. Press into your back heel. If you want to play with opening up the stance so that your fingertips just touch the back wall, a little more strenuous. Okay, you can go there. Then keep the back heel in good contact with the back wall as you drop your front forearm to your thigh and come into extended side angle. See if you can feel all the way from your back heel through your fingertips. Okay, and then bring your top hand to your back hip, straighten through your front leg until your front hand releases, and you're in the Trikonasana, back heel pressing against the back wall, stacking shoulders. For 3, 2, 1, and bend through the front knee and windmill up through warrior two. Turn both feet to be parallel to one another. Your back foot, now the whole outer edge of your back foot is up against the wall. Take a deep breath here and fold. And keep your hips. You can take a block or a couple blocks here. And you're folding. The hips are lined up with the heels. So we'll go from a lifted halfway lift to a fold. And for me, that's just going to be like bending my arms and coming a little deeper in. And then inhale to a halfway lift. Back is straight, spine is long, and then a fold. Pressing and lifting. And I'm really maintaining the hips lined up with the heels. Good. Then, good. Last time you come into the lift, you can heel toe your feet now. All the way into about hip distance apart. Come into a halfway lift here, then bend through your knees. Set your hips back, set your blocks to the other side of your mat, tricky, tricky. And then Utkatasana and standing. Take your time, come into Tadasana. And then turn and face backside to the wall, Tadasana. Feel the connection. So I was a PE major in college, and I can remember doing this whole posture class. And I've had to, rethink some of those things, and I've gotten some good information from yoga, but essentially this wall teaches us about the spine, the shape of the spine. Great. Now, we'll take a step out, put the left heel into the wall. Left heel goes into the wall. So not the whole side of the foot, but the left heel. And then we walk the right leg out and come into warrior two on this side. Again, you can play with palm against the back wall. Bring it out to fingertips. And feel a connection with your hand as well in the back wall. So that connection with the hand is going to keep our upper body coming out of the hips, sort of a straight line here. So we're not tilted forward in our warrior two. We are in the present warriorship. Getting ready to go out with these kids to the field. By the time this video arrives to you, I'll be out there already. So hopefully I'm surviving. Then we turn the palm up and reach forward and place the front forearm on the front thigh and come into extended side angle. Feel all the way from your back heel through your top arm fingertips. Keep this front shoulder out of your ear by really pressing forearm into thigh. And then as you begin to straighten the front leg, you bring your top hand to your back hip or your top hip, and then your hand lands, as you straighten, your hand lands wherever is convenient. It might be your thigh, it might be your shin, it might be your ankle. Make sure you have a connection there. Trikonasana, stack the shoulders. Really feel the back heel against the wall, even as you externally rotate the front thigh and press into your front foot big toe mound. 3, 2, 1, and then we'll bend through the front knee, come through warrior two, straighten both legs. Now that back foot can straighten out a little bit more, so the whole outer edge of your foot against the wall. Inhale to lift and exhale. Come down to your blocks, rearranging as necessary into a halfway lift. Hips are lined up with the heels. Okay, next exhale, you can bend through your elbows and take a little bit more of a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take a fold. What's the connection? Foot to the wall. Excuse me. And what are you witnessing? How are you witnessing? What does your witnessing look like here? Good. Then from here, the next time you press up to a halfway lift, Scooch, heel, jump, whatever, get the feet about hip distance apart, halfway lift. And then bend through your knees, set the blocks behind you. So that takes you into more of an Utkatasana shape. And then press up, stand up, Tadasana, either just on your mat or use the wall again to really feel this. Great. Okay, so now we're going to use the wall for a couple of balance postures. So here, you know, like for me, I've got some carpet here. It's a little bit challenging with the mat and the carpet, but I could move the mat out of the way probably and not use it, or you decide about your landing zone where you're on the floor. We're going to go to the Warrior 3, and we'll use our blocks at the front of our mat. Now you can measure by going and sitting on the ground, but you could also just play around by bringing the blocks forward. And we can start with the weight in the left foot, and I gotta come way more forward. So I can just work with the blocks, then the back foot comes right up against the wall. Back foot comes right up against the wall. And I've got some significant stacking of weight over hands in this Warrior 3. And back leg is parallel to the earth. See if I can get my hips to be, my pelvis to be square. For 3, 2, 1, bend through the front leg, the standing leg, bend through that leg, bend through the back leg, feel playful with that. And then both feet to the floor, hips back, hang on to the blocks as long as possible, Utkatasana, stand up, Tadasana. Okay, so how did that feel? Be the witness. Let yourself settle. You could inhale here now and exhale, fold down to the blocks. Put the weight into the other foot, whatever that is, and extend the back leg to the wall, coming into Warrior 3 variation on this side. Yeah, so your body, your mind is doing the mapping because you can't see your back leg, probably. And so, you know, get a sense. Do I have the full sole of my foot against the floor? Against the wall, rather. And then bend through the standing leg, bend through the back leg. Like you're gonna take off here, all right? Good, then both feet to the floor. Hips back, hips back, hips back, Utkatasana. And then stand up, Tadasana. Great, very good. Okay, take a little breather here. And then we go to Ardha Chandrasana with the wall. Okay, so again, I'm going to I don't even know if I'll use my mat, maybe not, but I want a block. And I'm going to start with my left side to the wall. Now, if you are just like, if you don't have, I have this really nice big wall here, but if you don't have that and you only have a door jamb, you want your hip, right, to be at that 6-inch space or whatever you've got, you know, that you can work with. So I get my left side towards the wall, and then I get to bring my left foot forward, and I'm going to bring the block forward of my left foot. So just like we do when we're in an open space, right? Maybe it's 8 inches or so. I bend through the front knee and I stand up and I use the wall. Back leg is parallel to the floor. And my body, my upper body is open up against the wall. opened up against the wall. Okay, I'll speak through that again. So you can kind of be in a very short triangle stance. Your block is out in front of you. Your front foot is 6 inches or so away from the wall. You bend through that front leg, find the block, right? The sole of your hand or the palm of your hand on the block. And then as you straighten through the front leg, you lift the back leg, roll open to the wall, and then you can stack your shoulders. And this is a great way to practice Ardha Chandrasana because the balance is taken out and you can really work with stacking the hips and opening up the upper body. Okay, now from here, just let this back leg, top leg drape down a bit, and then let your front arm, your top arm drape. So you're almost in the Bananasana. Your gaze can be anywhere. For 3, 2, 1. And then to come out of this, we'll turn the hips, turn the gaze, bend through the front knee. You can step the back foot back and come back into this little bit of a pyramid shape. Take your time, you might be a little dizzy. Great, we'll set up on the other side. So my front foot, my back foot, I make a pyramid shape, a little triangle with my feet, not too far apart, maybe 2 feet or so. My block is out in front of my front foot, and it's pretty much against the wall. Yeah. I'm going to bend through my front knee, find the block. My palm of my hand goes on the block. My back leg just naturally lifted off, right? And then as I straighten through my front leg, I lift my back leg and I roll against the wall. All right, then I can stack my arms. Okay, so be the witness. So one thing you can do to help really this back, the back toes, pull them towards your shins. And then pull your kneecap from the standing leg, pull your kneecap up, 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 up. Feel how I can almost feel, I mean, my standing leg is my right leg, and my right buttocks are definitely against the wall. And I could just barely get my left buttocks there. All right, my upper body's pretty good, touching the wall. For 3, 2, 1, and slowly let the top leg drape a little bit and bring the top arm to drape over your head. Oh, so this is a really good side body stretch. Then we bend through the standing leg, kind of take our gaze down to the floor. Maybe both hands come to your block. You can set the top foot beside, behind the front foot a little bit. Sorry, the back becomes the top and the front is, the standing leg. And then just stand up. Come to Tadasana. And just be a witness here. Be a witness. Great, be a witness. All right, and then from here, we don't need the wall space anymore. We're going to come to our mat, unless it's in your practice and you want to do like a headless headstand or a headstand with the wall as support. Otherwise, we'll meet on the mat in whatever space you have established, okay? You decide whether you're going upside down or not. And we'll meet back on our sticky mat. All right. So we're going to come to sitting with the knees over to the right, the feet over to the right. And if you're feeling kind of offset, you could put, this is a little bit too much, the block's a little bit too much, but I see a nice pillow that might work. So you could put a blanket or a little pillow there. So my right foot, my left foot is on the bottom, and my right foot is nestled in the sole of my left foot. And I've got some support under my left hip, which allows me to be nice and upright. Take a couple of breaths here and see if you can really grow your spine. Just grow your spine. Feel your whole side ribs expand with the inhale. Next exhale, twist to the left. Right hand to the outside of the left leg and left hand behind. And then here, everybody derotate the head. So you're looking back at the camera. Good. And then from here, we'll come with both hands to the left side and just imagine or lift the hips and set the hips back down, or imagine lifting the hips. Okay, and then come to your knees. We'll go to the other side. And again, just a little pillow or blanket is enough to get you upright. So now my left foot is nestled in the sole of my right foot. Take a couple of breaths here, really feel the length of your spine. Imagine that your spine is up against, your back body's up against the wall, and you're getting all that good information to help you map your back body. So it's not a surprise that many, many people, including myself, have some back issues. We don't see our back. So the floor and the wall really help us map our back body, figure out how we're standing, how we're sitting. Good. Next inhale, really fill the ribs, fill the whole upper chest, and then exhale and twist to the right. Derotate your head, look back at the camera. Bring both hands over to the right. Imagine that you could lift your hips or lift your hips. Set them back down off of the pillow, off of the blanket. Come to a Sukhasana. If you can stack your ankles over your knees, take that pillow back. You can also put something in there between the upper leg and the lower ankle. Sit up nice and tall. You're going to feel this sensation in your outer hips. Stick with it. If you're in this sort of, we call this kind of a stacked logs shape, and you can come forward at all. Increase sensation. You can come forward, come forward. Any amount. Be the witness here. Be the witness. Without judgment. Just witnessing you and your body, your physical body right now in this shape. And then come back and switch the orientation, either Sukhasana, or if you can manage some, you could also put a block between the bottom foot and the top knee. And of course, we're never surprised. Both sides are not the same. Sitting up nice and tall. And then right here is fine. If you feel that you are slouching in your back, you could bring your hands behind your back so that you have the natural curve of your lumbar spine happening. If you're pretty good and you're not slouching, nice tall spine. If this is pretty accessible for you, you can come forward. And one side probably different than the other. Can you witness that as well without any judgment? No judgment. What can you soften here? What can you soften? Around your eyes. And then we'll unwind ourselves. Come right on down to our backs in a position of comfort. So soles of the feet to the floor. Knees bent. Let's take a couple of rolling bridges here. So your fingertips just touch the back of your heels. We'll press into the heels as you tilt your pelvis forward. So anterior tilt, press the hips, arms come behind. And I like to leave my arms behind as I roll down one vertebra at a time. If you want to do the whole thing together, once my hips hit the floor, then I sweep my arms back. Inhale, press up again. So lots of options here. Lots of options. You can bring everything back down at the same time. You can inhale one arm up behind and turn your gaze in the opposite direction. And then as you bring the arm back in place and the hips down, you bring your head back to center. So just allow it to be organic for you. Again, really doing some good mapping here by being on the floor. Remember, as you inhale, the pubic bone moves away from the navel. You create a little space underneath your back as you lift and the arms come behind. Maybe you can go a little bit higher. Keep chin tucked in and back of the neck long. Back of the neck long. So you can continue this. This was my yoga practice for about a year when I first started the practice. I had lots of pain in my back, lots of impact in my back body from being a bike racer. And this was all I did for a long time. Thank you to my former partner, Becky, for introducing this to me. Yeah. And then if you need something else, maybe you want to move the knees back and forth, take a happy baby of some sort. Roll through the ankles. Just allow it to be yours. Allow something to come forth from your desire, your curiosity in your body, and just be the witness here. Mhm. And then whenever you're ready to stretch out onto the floor and take final Shavasana. Let everything go. Let everything go. Melt like iced water into the floor. Imagine that your body just takes up space beyond your mat, maybe to every corner of the room. So much space. Let your feet relax and fall out to the sides. Legs are heavy. Feel the hands from your palms through the back of your hands. From your palms out to your fingertips. Let everything go. Release any pursing around your eyes. And smooth the skin between your brow. Relax your jaw. Toggle your jaw right to left. Take a big belly breath into a soft belly. Another deep, big, deep inhale into a soft belly. And release. Just continue to let go as you deserve this little rest, this amazing shape, Shavasana. I will leave you in Shavasana. Thank you for letting me witness you showing up for your practice. I love you. I'll see you next week.